"No," said Harris. "If you want rest and change, you can't beat a sea trip." I objected to the sea trip strongly. A sea trip does you good when you're going to have a couple of months of it, but for a week it is wicked. You start on Monday with the idea implanted in your bosom that you're going to enjoy yourself. You wave an airy adieu to the boys on shore, light your biggest pipe, and swagger about the deck as if you were Captain Cook, Sir Francis Drake, and Christopher Columbus all rolled into one. On Tuesday, you wish you hadn't come. On Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you wish you were dead. On Saturday, you're able to swallow a little beef tea and to sit up on deck and answer with a wan, sweet smile when kind-hearted people ask how you feel now. On Sunday, you begin to walk again and take solid food. And on Monday morning, as with your bag and umbrella in your hand you stand by the gunwale waiting to step ashore, you begin to thoroughly like it. George said, "Let's go up the river." He said we should have some fresh air, exercise, and quiet. The constant change of scene would occupy our minds, including what there was of Harris's, and the hard work would give us a good appetite and make us sleep well. Harris said he didn't think George ought to do anything that would have a tendency to make him sleepier than he always was, as it might be dangerous. He said he didn't very well understand how George was going to sleep any more than he did now, seeing that there were only 24 hours in each day, summer and winter alike, but thought that if he did sleep any more, he might just as well be dead, and so save his board and lodging. Harris said, however, that the river would suit him to a T. I don't know what a tea is, except a sixpenny one, which includes bread and butter and cake ad lib, and is cheap at the price, if you haven't had any dinner. It seems to suit everybody, however, which is greatly to its credit. It suited me to a T, too, and Harris and I both said it was a good idea of George's, and we said it in a tone that seemed to somehow imply that we were surprised that George should have come out so sensible. The only one who was not struck with the suggestion was Montmorency. He never did care for the river, did Montmorency. "It's all very well for you fellows," he says. "You like it, but I don't. There's nothing for me to do. Scenery is not in my line, and I don't smoke. If I see a rat, you won't stop, and if I go to sleep, you get fooling about with a boat and slop me overboard. If you ask me, I call the whole thing bally foolishness." We were 3-1, however, and the motion was carried. We pulled out the maps and discussed plans. We arranged to start on the following Saturday from Kingston. Harris and I would go down in the morning and take the boat up to Chertsey, and George, who would not be able to get away from the city till afternoon — George goes to sleep at a bank from 10 to 4 each day, except Saturdays when they wake him up and put him outside at 2 — would meet us there. Should we camp out or sleep at inns? George and I were for camping out. We said it would be so wild and free, so patriarchal-like. Slowly the golden memory of the dead sun fades from the hearts of the cold, sad clouds. Silent, like sorrowing children, the birds have ceased their song, and only the moorhen's plaintive cry and the harsh croak of the corncrake stirs the awed hush around the couch of waters, where the dying day breathes out her last. Then we run our little boat into some quiet nook, and the tent is pitched, and the frugal supper cooked and eaten. The big pipes are filled and lighted, and the pleasant chat goes round in musical undertone, while in the pauses of our talk the river, splashing round the boat, prattles strange old tales and secrets, sings low the old child's song that it has sung so many 1,000 years. Harris said, "How about when it rained?" You could never rouse Harris. There is no poetry about Harris, no wild yearning for the unattainable. Harris never weeps he knows not why. If Harris's eyes fill with tears, you can bet it's because Harris has been eating raw onions, or has put too much Worcester sauce over his chop. We therefore decided that we would sleep out on fine nights, and hotel it and inn it and pub it, like respectable folks, when it was wet, or when we felt inclined for a change. Montmorency hailed this compromise with much approval. He does not revel in romantic solitude. Give him something noisy, and if a trifle low, so much the jollier. To look at Montmorency, you would imagine that he was an angel sent